Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala wa ba'd. Today we move to the next hadith regarding the prophetic morals and manners from Al-Adab Al Mufrad of Imām Al-Bukhāri Rahimahullah. We have reached hadith number 84, and the chapter heading today is the chapter that the son is a cause of miserliness and cowardliness, meaning in the parent or the father. Imām Al-Bukhāri brings his chain of narration in which he said that Abdullah bin Salih narrated to us, that Al-Layth narrated to me or informed me that he wrote to Hisham, that Hisham rather wrote to him from his father, from Aisha radiyallahu anha, who said that Abu Bakr, one day Abu Bakr said, "By Allah, there is not a man on the face of the earth more beloved to me than Umar." Then he left and came back, and he said, "With what words did I swear, my daughter, regarding my affection for Umar?" So Aisha radiyallahu anha said, "So I informed him about what he said about Umar. So he said, he is truly dear to me. Nevertheless, one's child is closer to one's heart." And this chain of narration, it is Hassan to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. Shaykh Al-Allama Zayd Al-Madkhalī Rahimahullah ta'ala said in his explanation, he said, this hadith proves the place of the child in the heart of a parent in terms of love and affection, and that he should be, meaning that he wishes for his son, that he should be from the best of the people, and that his child, son or daughter, should have the most abundant provision. As for the saying concerning the child, meaning in the chapter heading of Imām Al-Bukhāri, and this is ascribed to the Prophet ﷺ, as for the saying concerning the child that he is the cause of miserliness and cowardice, then this carries a meaning. And the meaning is that a father will be miserly and stingy with wealth, and he may withhold from sadaqah, and he may even withhold from giving wealth where it is wajib for him to give wealth, obligatory, and that is because he wants to leave it as inheritance for his son. So this is how a son can cause a father to be miserly, because now the father or the parent is focused upon his son, such that he won't give to anybody else because he thinks, I should store all of this up for my son, so after I die all of it goes to him. So this is what is meant in the chapter heading, the term mabkhala, that he will become, he'll have this bukhal or this miserliness. As for that which is mentioned of majbana, then that is of course that a father, or that the son causes his father to become cowardly. That it causes him to become cowardly. And that is when it comes to the affair of jihad or travelling to seek knowledge. So what does the father say? The father says, how can I leave my children How can I leave my son? How can I leave my offspring and go and answer the call of the ruler to go and fight? Or how can I go and seek knowledge? Or if he is a student of knowledge or a person of knowledge, how can I go and give da'wah and teach the people? I don't want to leave my children, I don't want to leave my son. So he withholds from all of this out of fear of leaving his family and leaving his child. And because he wants to stay and look after his son. So this causes, of course, conflict within the heart of a father. Should I leave my son behind? Should I give in charity? Should I give in sadaqah? So all of these conflicts, they occur in his mind and his soul. So this is why not being balanced in these affairs may cause an amount of cowardliness and miserliness in the father. So he needs to be balanced and put everything in its proper place. So the obligatory wealth that he must give, he must discharge it to those that he is obligated to, from his father, from his mother, from his children, from his brothers, his sisters, all those who may inherit from him. And likewise the giving in zakah, zakatul mal, or giving in zakatul fitr, or slaughtering on the day of Adha, meaning Eidul Adha, that he slaughters an animal. So he gives and he balances the affairs. So sometimes when a father withholds and he doesn't go out to give da'wah, and he doesn't go out when the ruler calls him, because he wants to stay and look after his son or his child. So it is just as the Prophet ﷺ said in a narration, his son causes him to be miserly and cowardly. So he's cowardly due to his son or his child, and likewise he is miserly because he wants his son to live in opulence and live a comfortable life from the earnings of the father or the inheritance of the father. So it is important, of course, my brothers and sisters, that we pay attention to this, that we do not allow the love that we have for our children, which is a true love and it is a correct love, just as Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu said to Aisha radiyallahu anha, that truly Umar is dear to me, nevertheless one's child is closer to one's heart. So the children are close to one's heart, but that should not cause them to become niggardly, miserly, cowardly, that they don't fulfill the rights that are due to others. Then Imam Al-Bukhāri, he mentions the next hadith, hadith number 85, where he said that Musa narrated to us, and he said that Mahdi bin Maymun narrated to us, and he said that Ibn Abi Ya'qub narrated to us from Ibn Abi Nu'm, who said that I was with Umar, or I was with Ibn Umar, meaning the son of Umar, Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma. I was with him when a man came to him and asked him about the blood of a mosquito, meaning in a state of ihram. They asked him about the blood or the killing of a mosquito in a state of ihram. So Ibn Umar said to him, "Where are you from?" The man said, "I am from Ahlul Iraq. I am from the people of Iraq." So Umar said, "Look at him. He asked me about the blood of a nut after they have murdered the grandson of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Indeed, I heard the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say that these two grandsons of mine are my sweet smelling flowers of this world." And this chain of narration, it is sahih. So this questioner was from the people of Iraq, and he asked Ibn Umar a question that astonished Ibn Umar, surprised him, about the blood of a mosquito or a gnat, whether it is pure or impure. So Ibn Umar, he said, he asked me about the ruling concerning the blood of a mosquito after they have killed the grandson of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, meaning Hussein bin Ali bin Abi Talib, who was the son of Fatima radiallahu anha, the daughter of Muhammad, meaning that it astonishes him that someone would ask him such a question about the blood of a mosquito after what they have done to the grandson of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hussein bin Ali radiallahu anhuma. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about his two grandchildren, they are my sweet smelling flowers of this world. And he said in another narration sallallahu alaihi wasallam that has been reported by Imām Tirmidhi and authenticated by Shaykh Al-Albani Rahimahullah, that Hassan and Hussein are the leaders of the youth of Jannah. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he loved them with an immense love, showing the great love that a father has for the children of his children, meaning for his grandchildren. That the parents, they love their grandchildren. So Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma narrated this, because that man was from Ahlul Iraq, asking about the blood of a mosquito when his forebears had shed the blood, or those that he had left behind, that they were the ones who had shed the blood of this noble companion and grandson of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hussein radiallahu anhu, the one who the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam affirmed for that he is in Jannah, and that he was the most beloved of the people to Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he was his believing grandson. So he had the relationship of family, the relationship of causing tenderness in the heart of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that he was a great, noble individual of piety. And this hadith is a proof of the ignorance of this man concerning the blood of a mosquito, that he doesn't know these affairs. And it is also a proof of the intelligence of the noble Sahaba radiallahu anhum, that they were the most analytical and critical of Ahlul Bid'ah and the perpetrators of crimes, that they would say to them and they would inform them of their jarh, or their criticism and their critique of them. And finally, there is here a proof that Hassan and Hussein have been borne witness for, that they are in paradise, that they are counted amongst those who are given glad tidings of Jannah, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with them and with the rest of those whom Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has borne witness for. So both of these hadith, barakallahu feekum, they show the tenderness of the heart of the father or the grandfather for his children, that though you may love many people from the righteous and pious, from those who are good, but as Abu Bakr said to Aisha radiallahu anha, nevertheless the child is closer to one's heart, meaning that the child is something that is dear to a father or a mother. And likewise the Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma here, he mentioned likewise the station of the grandchildren, that what position the grandchildren take in the hearts of the grandparents. And this is something quite often that we neglect by keeping the grandchildren away from their grandparents. So we shouldn't prevent our children from their grandparents, because the grandparents, they have immense love and tenderness towards their grandchildren, and you find quite often that they will spoil them, meaning that they'll give them gifts and they will let them get away with things that normally the parents wouldn't, and that is because of their love for them and their tenderness for them. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ used such tender words for his grandchildren, that they are my sweet smelling flowers of the world. That's how much love and affection he had for Hassan and Hussein radiyallahu anhuma. So in that regard, pay attention, my sisters and brothers, towards what your parents and the needs of your parents towards their grandchildren, that they want to see them and they want to speak to them and they want to be close to them. So make that effort in bringing your grandchildren to your parents, and make it something as a means of nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that when you see the pleasure in your parents that you've brought your children to them, then you know that by the pleasure of your father, that you attain the pleasure of Allah through the pleasure of your father, and likewise through your mother. So make your mother and father happy by bringing the grandchildren to them. And this is something that shouldn't be forgotten and never be neglected. Quite often, throughout the whole of this discussion, we've been talking about the mother and the father and the children and the daughters and the sisters and so on. But also look at the love and affection that the Prophet ﷺ displayed towards his grandchildren. وجزاكم الله خيرا والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.